All right, so today we are talking about Hashimoto's thyroiditis. What is Hashimoto's? What is Graves'? What is autoimmune thyroid disease? What do all these things mean? How does it happen? How does thyroid physiology work? All right, so I have up behind me here a breakdown of how the thyroid works. Now, what does all this mean? We're going to start here because really, thyroid disease can start in a lot of ways. Hashimoto's is an autoimmune thyroid disease. Graves' is an autoimmune thyroid disease. And anytime I see autoimmune antibodies, I think autoimmune thyroid. I don't need to diagnose it as Hashimoto's. I don't need to diagnose it as Graves'. I just need to know that there's autoimmunity to the thyroid so we can start reversing the thing. But here's how this works. So your hypothalamus tells your pituitary what to do using thyroidotropin. Pituitary tells your thyroid what to do using thyroid stimulating hormone. Now, a lot of you guys out there, you'll go to your doctor, he'll tell you have totally normal thyroid function. It's not your thyroid, it's all in your head, by looking at TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. That is not a thyroid hormone. That's a pituitary hormone telling your thyroid what to do. So why are we testing a pituitary hormone to tell you all about your thyroid? Shouldn't we test thyroid hormone as well? If your answer was yes, then you're correct. Obviously, we should do that. So your thyroid then produces T4 and T3. About 93% T4, about 7% T3. This is on average. And what T4 and T3 mean is T4 is 4 parts iodine, T3 is 3 parts iodine, T2, yes, there is a T2, that is 2 parts iodine. And the enzyme we use to create that is thyroid peroxidase, TPO, which is one of the enzymes that we test on thyroid testing to see if you have an autoimmune thyroid disease. TPO combines tyrosine, an amino acid that you create after you eat protein. You deaminate it in your liver, and that deamination creates an amino acid called tyrosine. That tyrosine combines with iodine to make 4 parts iodine, which is T4, and 3 parts iodine, which is T3. T3 is more active than T4. Now, about 60% of that T4 goes to the liver. Now, the way it gets to the liver, it hikes a ride on thyroglobulin, another one of the antibodies, thyroglobulin antibodies that would be indicative of Hashimoto's or Graves', autoimmune thyroid disease. And thyroglobulin also carries T3 around the blood. Those are total T3 and total T4. They're bound to the thyroglobulin, and that makes it so they're not active and they're circulating the blood. Now, when the T4 gets shuttled down to the liver will then create about 60% T3. Now, in the liver, when it's creating the T3, it's becoming more active if you're under a lot of stress. There's an enzyme here to convert T4 into T3 called 5' deiodinase. Big word. But basically, you're just listening to D, iodine, ACE. You're going to take an iodine off enzyme. So 5' deiodinase gets created in the liver, and you turn T4 into T3. But under a lot of stress, if you have real high cortisol, if you don't know what cortisol is, it's stress hormone. Under high cortisol levels, that T4 will turn into reverse T3. Hopefully your doctor is testing that to know if you're blocking your thyroid, because reverse T3 will block receptors and make it so you can't use your thyroid. Then your T3 will then be shuttled over from here, again using thyroglobulin, to pull it to the gut to create free T3, or to other cells and create free T3, the most active form of thyroid hormone. If you have a messed up liver, if you have a messed up gut, if you have permeability in your gut, if you have a problem with viruses in your liver or some kind of infectious disease where your liver has to do that, a lot of time we can't convert T4 to T3. When you're using levothyroxine and Synthroid, it is T4. It's the inactive version. So you have to convert in your liver and in your gut. Unless you have a perfect gut and liver function, the chances of you creating good free T3 and feeling great are minimal. So when their doctor's giving you T4, Synthroid or Levo, and they're testing your TSH and saying it's normal, and you go, I don't feel good, I promise you're not crazy. You really do have a problem. They're just not doing enough testing to figure that out. Now, when we get into the Hashimoto's, which means we are creating antibodies to this, antibodies, and you're creating antibodies to this, antibodies. I'll just put an AB so save some time. So the antibodies start attacking these and make it so you're not going to be able to make your thyroid hormone as much. You're not going to be able to convert your thyroid hormone as much, and you're not going to be able to keep them going, because when you don't have enough raw material, it's hard to convert them over to the free T3 and free T4 levels to make it more active. So getting these attacked are a problem. So where do we create antibodies? You either have Epstein-Barr virus, of which I've made a video before on. Epstein-Barr is a virus that can go chronic. Cytomegalovirus is a virus that can go chronic. You could have Lyme disease if you have taken a lot of antibiotics and damaged your gut tissue. If you don't have a normal microbiome and damage your gut tissue, you have Crohn's or colitis or IBS, you may damage your gut lining. You push proteins through that don't belong, and you can start attacking those enzymes. When you attack those enzymes, it drops your thyroid. That's your Hashimoto's and Graves. Epstein-Barr, Lyme, if you had an exposure, something like mold, you lived in a moldy house, or you live out in a farm somewhere and you're getting sprayed with farm chemicals, those are considered biotoxins creating an adaptive immune response, and that adaptive immune response creates autoimmunity. You can't tell the difference between you and the bad guys. High stress levels for a long period of time will knock T3 out and have you make reverse T3. You're going to block thyroid hormone. You're not going to have as much free T3. All these things need to be tested if you're going to have normal thyroid function. And we need to figure out why you would create thyroid antibodies. We need to test your iodine levels. You don't just start giving iodine because someone has low thyroid. You see if they're low in iodine. If they are, then yes, give iodine. If you have problems with your liver and you can't deaminate tyrosine, one of the ways that you create your thyroid hormones, the tyrosine, you may have a liver problem where you can't deaminate and make the thyroid hormone. So those things are important. You need to test those things. You test everything. You don't guess. You figure out where your stress levels are. If you have high cortisol, you may not convert. If you're on levothyroxine, you know it's the inactive version, it may not convert. If we have a hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal issue, I know I spelled that wrong, adrenal issue, this, under high stress levels, will go back and feed to the pituitary and shut it off, so now our TSH goes down, and you may have low TSH and low T4, and you actually have low thyroid, and your doctor sees you have low TSH and he goes, oh, your thyroid's fine. We need to understand root cause. We need to know why you're not feeling good so you can feel good the rest of your life and not keep you stuck in the medical world. You guys have an awesome day. Feel free to like, share, and follow my page. Thanks.